like I say, I think it was the gypsies that told me first, because and it was why some cities had walls, because they didn't necessarily want to hurt these people, or at least they wanted to make it clear that if you climbed over their wall, you died. And plus, it made it easier for the swordsmen or the protectors of the town to protect the town from these roaming packs. Apparently, like I said, as soon as there were large groups of people within close proximity to another, like half a town or a third of a town, usually younger teenagers, would break off and go and overwhelm a store in the next town over. Like 1,000 people or 5,000 people or 7,000 people would just be like, hey, let's go get booze. And they would go over to the next town. They would find a warehouse. They would rip the doors off, go in there and grab the beer or alcohol, and they would go back to their town or into the woods or something to drink and party. This was happening a lot back in the old days. A lot. There was no way to have a financial system. There was no way to have any kind of system. There was no way. Civilization basically went just like a big ship. Like I said, they would go down to a train yard, and I think they might have even stolen a train that had a disease on it, and they actually got sick, and maybe that's why one. Like I said, one of those trains going to China. Like I said, I had two different colored trains going to China, transporting basically Ebola or some sort of nasty disease, and they would all go through decontamination up there at the, when they got back, and there were sick people coming back from this place, or healed better people coming back, and then sick people going up. And they used two different kinds of trains because of the contamination problem. Anyway, it's possible one of these roaming groups went up to one of those trains, got inside, and took it before the decontamination process could be done. Infected all of them. And then wandered away. Infected more people. They all died. Like I said, there were roaming packs. Large groups of people. They would just roam here, roam there. Sometimes they would steal a ship and go to another country. They were just packs of 5,000 or 7,000 or 15. Well, actually, they said usually there were about 15,000 people or 11,000 people or so. That would be led by one teenager or one crazy person or one person that would just be like, let's go to a warehouse, which is basically whatever. They would just do whatever. Go to a warehouse, break into it, go to the next town, steal a bunch of brand new cars. Steal a ship before it was done. They would just do whatever they wanted. Whatever. 5,000 people, 7,000 people, 75,000 people, 80,000 people. They would just have a hankering for cocaine. So they would go to the next town, break into whatever, kill whoever, and just... Well, sometimes they didn't kill. Sometimes they did kill. I got a lot of scattered reports. But basically every time they ripped the doors off the hinges and broke in, and sometimes they would steal whole banks, like 5,000 people, and they would just divide it up among themselves. Sometimes they would break into a nuclear power plant, maybe. I don't know. Or irradiate all of them. I have no idea that they were standing in the middle of ground zero of a nuclear power plant or doing whatever. Like I said, I wondered how much damage they actually did, considering there is no mention of them. There's no mention of the random roaming packs of 70 or 80,000 people that would just wander around, destroying everything in their path. The what's it called? The Egyptians or the gypsies told me of these wandering packs that would just wander across the country on foot, just go from town to town, doing whatever they wanted. To my countries. I was like, So basically they just ripped the doors off the hinges, got into the warehouse, took all the alcohol, took all the food. They said they spoiled food because some of them had diseases, and they wouldn't wash themselves. They would just... And then it's like, well, we can take out the bitten ones and, soap and water. And cooking. Cooking kills all germs. Anyway, apparently they were roaming packs of people. And so, acting like wolves, they said, they're animals. They're just animals. They don't have any regard for anything. They don't have any regard for civilization. Some can't even speak or something like that. Or they just don't care about civilization. There's hardly a leader among them. They're like, there's one guy that will call himself a leader, but they're not really the leader. It's whatever everybody else wants to do. I was like, okay. This is a problem. Like I say, sometimes it'd be like LA goes and squashes the next little town over. Or they would destroy whole towns. Rip them apart with their bare hands. Just now you don't have a place to live. And then wander off into the woods. And then later on they would starve. Like I said, they would trample fields. They would just walk across the field, trampling it. Nothing would grow. Or they would go and destroy a pump station. Or destroy the power plant. Because it was funny or fun. Then later on they would starve. Or they'd go and steal the food from whoever had food. Like I said, there was no way to have civilization. I was just like, you know what? I agree with you. Forget it. There's no way to have civilization on this planet. I'm over it. So that's why the Tommy gun and the Gatling and some other things were to stop these random roaming packs. Just to stop people from large groups of people, like 150,000 or 80,000 people, from just wandering around. They would, like I said, they would steal trains. They would go and do whatever they wanted. They said, no, the masses don't have a problem at all. It's a few people that have a problem. Anyway, I don't really know. All I know is that my civilization was permanent. I was like, okay, civilization is permanently on hold until we solve this problem of what to do with the roaming packs. They're like wolves. They take everything. They destroy cities. And they'll just wander into the woods and then over the mountains and then like a plague. I was like a plague? Like, yeah, like a plague. Like, you're serious? This is happening. Like, yeah. They rape women, they kill people, they do whatever they want. There's more of them. Or something. It's like chaos or whatever. I don't know. I never got a picture of them, and I was even wondering if they really existed or not. But I mean, I was hearing stories of all these people that were just, I was like, wow, where is this happening? And the gypsy said, oh, it's everywhere. Sometimes it happens for one day. Sometimes it happens longer. You know, you just don't hear about it until you come to a town that is destroyed or empty and dying. People dead in the street sometimes. Every door being ripped off its hinges. You know, you see the remnants of what's left afterwards, apparently. Sometimes people will drive into a town that was perfectly fine the previous week. And then all of a sudden it's just dead and gone. Nobody's there. And the people that are there are crying. And or have this empty look in their eyes. I was like, wow, that's bad. That's really bad. So I think it was the gypsies that told me, actually. They said, we know of these people. We moved to stay away from them or ahead of them or something. Anyway, the gypsies told me about it. Like I said, the gypsies or some of the older communities, had faced such things in the past, and were telling me of them. You know, the problems that I didn't know about.